Chapter 7. Disadvantages of having cold food. A fellow asks Dadaji to explain whether there are any disadvantages in having cold food. Dadaji explains, so long the food is freshly cooked and is hot, there remains the fire element embedded therein. With passage of time, the fire element therein recedes. But when the food is heated again on a stove, the fire element gets refilled in it. Albeit, as the time passes, the fire element in the food recedes, and consequently the food is gradually rendered stale, hence become heavier to digest. If the cooked food is allowed to remain for long, its intake may even damage the digestive system. Any cooked eatables lying for 3 to 4 hours and rendered cold, if consumed, would create burden on the digestive power. Such cold food becomes difficult to digest, and having such food the next day would rather damage the digestive system. Dadaji says, if you find this knowledge useful, you may keep this in mind and decide to have fresh and warm food at least from now onward. You might not have followed this in the past, but now you have this right understanding, and you may decide accordingly in your own interest. The food can be digested only when there is sufficient fire element therein. Otherwise, food won't get properly digested. Deviation from this practice would harm your health. Elements of earth and water are naturally found in food, but to fill it with fire element, the food is cooked, heated, or roasted. And if you allow it to cool down for too long, then the fire element therein recedes, and such food, devoid of fire element, disturbs your health. We might not find laboratory proof of this, but we may notice innumerable examples of people having a habit of eating fresh and warm foods, living a healthier and longer life. So one can accept that this is a good practice. Dadaji says, for many years I have followed this practice of taking freshly cooked food while it is warm, and to avoid the cold food so that the brain and intellect function well and do not get adversely affected. Otherwise, the stale food, if consumed, may cause brain-related ailments too. For instance, once rice is cooked, then it should be consumed within 4 hours. But some people, in their dinner or supper, even eat the rice that was cooked in the morning. Some people even fry such stale rice, adding some ingredients to it to make it tasty. But it is a harmful practice. Dadaji says, I would always avoid food items rendered cold. The molecules of such food are indigestible, hence useless, and also tend to affect one's intellect and make it dull. Dadaji says that you may have now understood the reason why we always need to eat freshly cooked warm food. The food is cooked and heated to fortify it with the fire element, because it is essential for digestion. The fellow asks, what about having cold water? Dadaji says, one should know that it is very harmful to drink chilled water from the fridge all the time. It weakens the appetite. The body needs to maintain warmth for seamless functioning. But the fellow cools down the body by repeated intake of chilled water and cold drinks. The fellow may not have the required level of warmth within, and yet one cools it down often on the contrary. Overall, chilled food items are unhealthy and should be avoided. How much cold the drinking water should be? It can be as cool as the room temperature, but not ice cold. It is okay if cold water is taken once in a while, but if it is taken daily, it adversely affects the digestive system. That is called a conflicting consumable item. The monkeys would not drink cold water. If offered ice cream or too hot a food, they would not eat. But humans lack such common understanding. They commit mistakes and yet boast, "What I do is right." Dadaji says, over and above, these lucky people live in air-conditioned rooms with lower temperatures. It is okay to keep air conditioning when the environment is very hot. But many people keep air conditioning on all the time, forcing the body to struggle for maintaining the required level of warmth within. See, the sun does not give the same heat for all the 12 months either. It also goes back and forth. And for these people, the same temperature all the 12 months. This is a dearth of such common sense and simple understanding in people. Heat is vital for the body and its overall functioning. Winter is good, but for whom? For those who are perfectly healthy and for younger ones, but not for others. Low temperatures in winter are nice for those in sound health, but not congenial for those whose level of warmth in the body has come down.